know who we are. You know who we are. We are QPR.
The 1966-67 season has gone down in folklore as one of the greatest seasons in the history of Queen's Park Rangers. This five-part series will look at what happened during this great season for the club. After a good start to the season, Rangers sat in the automatic promotion places, and the team's great form continued into October. A double from Les Allen helped us to a 5-1 win over Grimsby, with Marsh, Lazarus and Roger Morgan also on the scoresheet that day. Next up was a hide-in for Swansea, with another double for Les Allen as we ran out 4-2 winners. We faced Swansea again a couple of days later in the League Cup, and it was another win, 2-1 this time. Goals by Tony Hazel and Mike Keane put QPR into the fourth round against top-flight Leicester City, who had won the League Cup just 2 years earlier. A packed Loftus Road that night as Rangers were 2-1 down at half-time, but they come storming back to thrash their top-flight opponents, 4-2. Another double from Les Allen and goals from Lazarus and Roger Morgan put QPR into the quarter-finals. Fans were really starting to believe that this was going to be a special season.
We were always a team of second half. We were always behind after the first half against Leicester. We were getting beat 2-1. We finished up beating them 4-2. There was a lot of times where we were behind in the first half and we came out and just absolutely slaughtered them in the second half.
Despite draws with Torquay and Gillingham, Rangers remained top of the league before getting back to form with a thumping win, this time 4-1 against Leyton Orient, Les Allen again grabbing 2 of the goals. A 2-2 draw with Gillingham meant that Rangers ended the month in second place, but we were still in the last 8 of the League Cup as well. Rodney Marsh topped the goal scoring charts with 19 for the season. Les Allen scored 8 in October to make it 13 for him, whilst Mark Lazarus and Roger Morgan each had 7 goals. Our great start to the season was not going unnoticed though, and rumours began to grow that Newcastle United were looking to sign our star men Roger Morgan and Rodney Marsh. Fans feared the worst, and a bid was made for the pair of them with a fee of £45,000. Chairman Jim Gregory rejected the bid, and a new one of £95,000 was made, which sounds small change these days, but was a massive amount back then for 2 players in Division 3. Rangers held firm though and kept hold of both of the players, much to the delight of the supporters. Now Woking were the visitors on bonfire night as Rangers got back to winning ways. Rodney Marsh made it 20 goals for the season, scoring twice in a 4-1 win. It proved to be a fruitful month for Rodney as he grabbed a double in a 2-0 win up at Scunthorpe before returning to Loftus Road for a wet and windy night against Torquay United. Rangers were below their best that night, but thanks to goals from Roger Morgan and Les Allen, they won 2-1 and returned to the top of the table. Hopes were now high, and a season-high crowd of 14,000 was at Loftus Road for the visit of Oldham. We were unbeaten in 19 games, and expectation was high. So you can probably guess what happened next. Yes, a 1-0 win for Oldham. Even in one of our best ever seasons, there was still one of those days. QPR faced non-league Poole Town next in the FA Cup, which should have been a case of how many would we score, but it turned out to be a nervy afternoon for Alex Stock's men. Young Mike Kelly made his debut for QPR in goal, and he got a nasty kick to the head, meaning he had to go off. With no sub-goalkeeper in those days, it was Jim Langley winning goal for Rangers, and that gave Paul some confidence, and Rangers struggled to a 3-2 victory. The brilliance of Rodney Marsh ensured we avoided a cup upset as he scored another hat-trick. So we ended November still top of the table with just 2 defeats all season. Rodney Marsh had 26 league and cup goals, with Les Allen scoring 15. The team had scored 53 league goals already. It was certainly entertaining for the QPR fans.
It was a marvellous time. It was one of those times where, and you don't often get it. I've never had that same feeling, even though I've been with great players and played with great players since. I never got the same feeling as I had with QPR, and it was like the fans were part of it. You go up the pub after games with the supporters, and you'd be in the pub with the supporters. And it was just unique.
Despite being top, though, that defeat to Oldham and the performance against Poole Town brought a few worries to the team. Ian Watson returned at right back for the visit of Bristol Rovers, but it was back to business as usual, with the team winning 3-0, thanks to goals from Les Allen, Keith Sanderson and Mark Lazarus. It was then back to the League Cup and Carlisle United at home in the quarter-finals. Now, Carlisle were a division higher than Rangers at the time and pushing for promotion to the top flight. This was not going to be an easy game. Over 19,000 fans filled Loftus Road for a massive night. And once again, Rodney Marsh was the star of the show. He scored twice in a hard-fought 2-1 victory. That win put us into the semi-final. Birmingham City stood between QPR and a trip to Wembley, where they would face West Brom or a West Ham side featuring several World Cup winners. We were soon back down to earth with a 0-0 draw at Shrewsbury, which was only the second time we failed to score all season. But the goals were quickly flowing again, with a Boxing Day 3-0 win over Brighton. Keith Sanderson, Mark Lazarus, and of course Rodney Marsh were among the goals. There was just a day between games that year, with Rangers facing Brighton again on the 27th. This time we could only get a 2-2 draw, with young striker Alan Wilkes scoring on his debut. We entered the year with a home game against promotion rivals Watford on New Year's Eve, and the year certainly ended with a bang, as Rodney Marsh scored twice and the team won 4-1. Mark Lazarus also on the score sheet, as well as young defender Frank Sibley. So as 1966 came to an end, QPR sat top of the table and heading towards promotion, with excitement at fever pitch for the upcoming League Cup semi-final. Rodney Marsh had scored 32 goals for the season in all competition. Les Allen, Mark Lazarus and Roger Morgan were also all into double figures, as we started 1967 with everything to gain. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Coming up next time, the battle to win promotion continues, and QPR face two of the biggest games in their history, with a two-legged semi-final against Birmingham City.